So we are back with another episode of the Cleveland Browns franchise here, Madden NFL 17 franchise. And we just went and played our first game of the series, and we lost it in overtime, though. 38-35, a close score. At least he's made it close with RG3's 4 picks, though, too. And it was just a really crazy game at the end. The fumble recovery, and the touchdowns, and all that kind of stuff. But just before we move on, let's go look at the box score for last week's game. An exciting game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cleveland Browns. So let's start off with this. So offensive rushing yards, didn't have barely any of that. We'll just quickly go through this. You can see that for yourself. Time possession was a lot better for the Philadelphia Eagles, just based on they had a lot of time on offense, so they'd always extend drives by always converting on third down. It's really annoying eventually. It's based on Ryan Matthews' ability to convert on third down. But let's go to individual player stats, see how it went. So it looks like Carson Wentz, a great game, 126.3 passing rating. It's really good. 285 yards passing, pretty good game. 2 touchdown passes. And that's pretty good. But RG3, 80.9 passing rate, not as good. But 320 yards passing, 3 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions. Didn't have that great of a game when it comes to interceptions, but other than that, he is actually good, pretty good for us. So let's move on to rushing stats. So Ryan Matthews, 191 yards rushing on 24 carries. A great game by Ryan Matthews, and 1 rushing touchdown. So other than that, we had Isaiah Crowell, 58 yards rushing on 16 attempts. RG3, 30 yards rushing, and Darren Sproles, 15, and a touchdown. And Duke Johnson even had 1 carry for 4 yards and a touchdown at the red zone. So let's move on to receiving yards. Receiving yards, we had the great Josh Gordon, 142 yards receiving, 6 receptions, and 1 touchdown. So Josh Gordon, a great fantasy game for him. If someone had one in fantasy football, that'd be a lot of points for him. But another great receiver was Oglar. Oh my god, 111 yards receiving on 3 receptions, average of 37, and a touchdown. His longest is like a 68 yards after catch, so that was crazy. But another one is Ruben Randle, 96 yards receiving. Isaiah Crowell, 54. Corey Coleman had his first game, 54 yards receiving on 3 receptions for a touchdown. Zach Ertz, 53, Gary Barnes, 48, and that is all below. Now let's move on to, defense, So tackles. It looks like Curtis Lofton led the day with 12. Now you have Demario Davis with 11. Actually, Lofton had a great fantasy game, though. 12 tackles, 2 interceptions. He had a great game for any fantasy player. But next was Demario Davis, 11 tackles, and 3 tackles for a loss. They have Joe Hayden with 8. We have McLeod with 8. We have Bakari Rambo with 6. We have Raheem Moore Sr. with 6. We have McKelvin with 6 tackles and 2 interceptions. So 2 players each with 2 interceptions from Robert Griffin III. And that's basically a little bit about it from there. But even John Hughes III had 5 tackles and 2 sacks. So John Hughes III had a great game for us. Looks like he's really fitting in there at his position at defensive tackle. But anything else? Mingo at 4. And that is basically about it. So let's move on to, kick returning. I always see the kick returning. So 134 yards kick returning stats for Raheem Mostert. So he had a great game for us. We're going to keep him in there at kick returner. Now let's move on to punt returning. Darren Sproles, 46. Mostert, 43. Who else? I think that's it. So one other player we're going to go and at least upgrade to defensive left end is going to be Emmanuel Ogbah. So Ogbah, he's got better speed and he's got better tackling when it comes to our man, what's his face? What's his name? Desmond Bryant, that's what it was. So Desmond Bryant, he's great and all, but Emmanuel Ogbah's a lot better when it comes to left end. So Ogbah now our new starting left end, and Carl Nassib our new starting right end. So our defensive line looks a little bit better, a little bit faster on the end, so maybe he'll be able to pressure the QB a lot better and get more sacks with his team, because their defensive tackles are fine. Like John Hughes III had a great game last week, but Nassib had a good game at registering a sack, and Ogbah provided a lot of pressure when he did play left end. So anyway, let's go and check out, what else do we have to really check out? Special teams is not too bad. Coons had a decent game. I don't know if we kicked any field goals at all, but Coons is okay. Andy Lee is a great punter, and we're basically all good with that. And one man we have to go and look at is, what's his name? I don't know how to say his first name. Oh yeah, Raheem Mostert. So Mostert had a great game for us. He had like a 71-yard kick return to start off the game that put us in great, actually scored us a touchdown eventually. So Mostert, great returns. Easily going to keep him as a starter when it comes to punt returning and kick returning duties. So now we got all that figured out. So let's go and move on to, seeing this, what was it? Can we see standings yet? I don't know if we can or not, but anything else when it comes to transactions? I want to see you do some transactions here. See if any players were cut at all. See if any big players were cut. We also did sign Devarius Jackson last week too, because one of our quarterbacks, I believe, was our backup. Josh McCown was injured, so we had to go and sign Tavares Jackson as basically a third QB so he can actually play last week. Okay, so now we got the defensive line all figured out. Our defensive line's a lot faster now. So let's go and check out, I guess, free agents right now, because I didn't check that out before the last week, at least week 1. So here's the top free agents when it comes to after week 1. Got Nate Garner and a few other decent players on here. A lot of mid-70s. And not really players that you need. It's more backup players. Like, say if one player gets injured, throw one of these guys in, you're fine, kind of thing. Okay, so I was looking at the defensive tackle position on here, and I did look at Jamie Metter compared to Adolphus Washington on our practice roster, or at least practice squad. And Adolphus Washington, he has 75 strength, 83 tackle, 80 block shitting, 78 power moves, and 71 speed. Let's go check out what Jamie Metter has to offer so we can see if we can trade him or not. So Jimmy Metter, 85 strength, 67 tackles, 75 block shedding, 84 power moves, and only 64 speed. So Jimmy Metter looks to be the worser player compared to Adolphus Washington on our practice squad. So one thing we can actually do quickly right before we go end off this week, we can go and maybe, actually no, I guess we'll do this maybe next week. We'll go and quickly sign Adolphus Washington on to our team. There you go. So when your contracts, now we have an open slot in there. So let's quickly find someone to fill our practice squad with. So we can find someone quickly. So who can we find here? We have Marcus Golden on here, 3-4 pass rusher. He just go inside Carl Davis. He's 6'5", 320 pounds. He's a little bit faster than others. Let's go and sign Carl Davis to our practice squad. There we go. Damn, actually, no, wait. First, we have to go, but right before we go do this, we have to actually go and trade or just go straight release Jamie Metter, because right now we have got one player off the team, and it looks like Metter might be the odd man out on this team. So let's go and quickly go and try and trade Jamie Metter off this team. Okay, so we actually found a trade for Jamie Metter. So we trade him to the Colts because they need a defensive tackle, and we got a 5th round pick out of them, which is actually not too bad. So getting a 5th round pick out of Jamie Metter is pretty good. So now we have Adolphus Washington at backup, and we do have John Hughes III as a starter at defensive tackle on that part. So let's go after finally getting all this roster moves and stuff done. So after all those position changes on the team, let's go move on to week 2 of our franchise mode in this season. So for week 2 of our franchise mode, we're playing against the Baltimore Ravens this week in Cleveland, finally at First Energy Stadium. But is there anything else really to check on here? We do have position changes hopefully on here. We do, okay, Carl Nassib at right end, and Emmanuel Ogbah at left end, plus Adolphus Washington at backup at D tackle. So anything else on here to change? Isaiah Crowell gets a start, obviously. And yeah, everything looks set for week 2 of our franchise mode. Let's see what happened in the AFC North. So in the AFC North last week, every single team won except the Browns, which really sucks. But I mean, that's the Browns. But of course we're gonna do that. So we got all our stuff done for this week. We have no new stuff to actually do. So let's go and end this week. And hopefully we can go and win this week. So we're gonna be 1-1 on the season. I kind of want to win, but I mean, if we lose, it doesn't really matter too much because we're the Browns. I want to stockpile as many first-round picks as possible. And if we get the first overall pick, we could probably trade down. We finally won. We actually won a game. Finally. So Sonny Weaver Jr.'s first W in the NFL. But as you know, I don't know if I told you or not, but we're going to go and sim the 4 weeks in this episode so we can get to week 5. So that way we could actually get a few games in our belt and our team looks a little bit fine. But finally, the newest thing to do now is scout some college players for this week. So anything else really to do? Big contracts to negotiate. Okay. Let's see these players. So we got Barcavius Mingo, 79 overall. Raheem Moore Sr., Isaiah Crowell, not ready yet. Okay, these guys are ready. So 2 big players on here want to sign. So you got Barcavius Mingo. Okay, I don't know about him too much yet. Mingo, I don't know if I'm going to trade him or not. I might do that if we can find a replacement at left or right in. I don't know what position Emmanuel Ogbah plays now, but Barcavius Mingo, we could trade him at the trade deadline just like it happened in real life for like maybe a top round pick, like a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Raheem Moore Sr. though, free safety, okay. He's 26 years old, 78 overall. He's not too bad. Let's see him. He's one of our better players, I'd say that. He's 6'1", 26 years old. We could probably maybe sign him. I don't know, 7 years. That's actually a fair offer there, actually. Let's see this. Raheem Moore Sr. Should we make it this commitments this early, though? I really don't know. Let's go. Actually, we'll leave that off. We don't need to sign anybody right now. Just after that, let's go and check out what happened this week. I want to see how we won this ball game. Let's go check out the AFC North, though. The Steelers 2-0 now. Ravens 1-1, Bengals 1-1, and we are finally 1-1 though. It's great to see. But let's go check out this game and see what happened and how we actually won against the Baltimore Ravens. I'm actually kind of surprised. See the box score. Hopefully RG3 played well at home, but let's see this. So our offensive yards gained 483, offensive rushing yards 142. So we finally ran the ball, 341 yards passing, 20 first down. We had a great game against the Ravens actually. So let's see this. So actually we'll just go Redskins. Or not Redskins, Browns. So RG3 had a great game, 100.7 passing rating just a good passing rating. 340 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and only 2 sacks. So our offensive line playing better than last week for sure. Who else? Rushing. Let's see rushing. So Isaiah Crowell, 53 yards rushing. Duke Johnson, 49 yards rushing. And a touchdown for Duke. So Duke looks to be actually better than Isaiah Crowell so far, which is actually kind of surprising. I thought Duke could be a little bit worse, but maybe you could probably start Duke Johnson next week after this performance this week. But receiving yards, Josh Gordon once again stepping up, 142 yards of receiving last week and 108 this week on 7 receptions and for a touchdown too. Plus Gary Barnes 61 yards receiving. Let's sort this properly. There you go. So Andrew Hawkins, the guy I was kind of worried about, 75 yards receiving on 5 receptions. Gary Barnes 61 yards receiving. Corey Coleman 38 yards. Ricardo Lewis 35. Lonnie Pryor 20. And Isaiah Crowell 3. Let's see blocking. And he sacks a lot actually. So only Michael Bowie allowed a sack. That's actually pretty perfect. Defense. Let's see defense. So tackles. Demario Davis 10 tackles. 0.5 a sack. So assisted sack right there. Kawan Williams 9 tackles. Carl Nassib 7 tackles and 1.5 sacks. That's exactly why we started him at right end. Carl Nassib, you're the man. And Paul Kruger 6 tackles and 1.5 sacks. Good to see it, linebacker. Emmanuel Ogba 5 tackles, no sacks on the day. Trayvon Williams 4, and that's basically about it. So you also got a sack. John Hughes the third. There you go, another sack on the day. So John Hughes playing perfect at defensive tackle. Anything else? That's it. Okay. Let's see kicking though. Do we get any kicks? 3 for 4. Okay. Longest is 43. That's not too bad by Travis Coons. Punting. It's okay. Yes. Kick returning though. I want to see this. So Taylor Gabriel. I don't know. So most starts. So 51 yards. Kick return yards. That's not too bad, I guess. Punt return 29. And I think that's about it. So we had a great game against the Baltimore Ravens. I finally actually got a W though. I'm actually surprised we got a W for once. So our team looking great so far after the moves he made. Especially Carl Nassib though, making the most out of it. But one thing as we can do before we start this week is put Duke Johnson at starter for next week. He had a great game last week, so why not start him for this week? But anything else to really do on here to make any changes? We're fine there, I guess, because Carl Nassib had a great game. And that's it. So anyway, let's go and move on. Actually, can we move on yet? Anything else to do? I guess we check transactions quickly to see what happened in the NFL this week. So any big names? Larry Fitzgerald signed a 2-year, $23.2 million contract. They're re-signing there. Tyrann Mathieu was signed a 4-year, $40.5 million re-signing. Anything else? Jason Pierre-Paul, 4 years, $39 million. Prince, 4 years, $32.7 million. Anything else? Anything else? Kirk Cousins signed a 4-year, $57.8 million contract. Drew Brees re-signed once again. Vince Wilfork re-signed on a 1-year deal. Alshon Jeffrey, 4 years, $46 million with the Bears. Anything else? And that's basically about it when it comes to week 3. So a lot of big re-signings already, so it's just pretty surprising. I thought there'd be a little bit less, but yeah, and Jordan Cameron re-signed a 5-year, $35 million. Rick Berry, 4 years, $37 million too. Melvin Ingram, 4 years, $29 million. And Tyler Eifert, 5 years, $47 million. Okay, and that's about it. So a lot of big re-signings in the NFL, and I don't know if we really make any re-signings yet. I mean, I don't want to commit that early, especially because we're the Browns, but let's go and check out the college scouting though. College scouting, it's going to be big this year for our draft, but the guy I already scouted though, like just by the tutorial, was Cole Colvin. There you go. 6'3", he's a quarterback, first overall. He's 6'3", 23 years old, 234 pounds. He's white and bald, so I don't know about Cole. He's not too bad, I guess. He looks decent, but one thing about quarterbacks, though, at least my perception of quarterbacks is that you can basically compare getting a quarterback to basically planting a flower. You can basically, the soil is the rest of your team. You need to go plant soil, but put the soil down before you go and put the flower in. If you go and put the good flower in, which is the quarterback, and there's no good soil, the flower's just going to go and die. So you need to go and support the flower first by getting good soil. We need to go and build this team before we get a good quarterback, at least draft a quarterback. So that's my perception on drafting quarterbacks this early. I don't know if I'm going to draft a quarterback this early in the rounds, like first round, second round kind of thing. You might be able to draft them maybe in the third or fourth, but I don't know. So Colvin, I don't know if I'm going to draft him or not. Another team will probably get him, but Cole, he's probably going to go to another team just based on my perception on quarterbacks. If you can go and get the team good this year, you might be able to draft one, but I'm not sure at this point. Anything else? We got BJ Forbes. I'm not going to use any points yet, I guess, because if 50% isn't going to be gone yet. Anything else, though? You good wide receivers looking at least by height. Right outside linebackers in the top. There's a lot of linebackers in the top 10. And we do have a strong safety, though, to it. Andrew Ellis. Okay. Any good wide receivers? We got Tavarius Brooks. Who else? Jarrett Sanders. And that's basically about it. So right now the top 5 is Cole Colvin, BJ Forbes, Rodman Skrin, Jarrett Sanders, and Drew Hello Jr. Okay, Drew Hello. It's a pretty good name. But anyway, let's go and move on to the next week 3 of the NFL. We really have nothing left to do. So let's go and move on to the very next week. Hopefully we can take a W this week. I don't know if we can. Maybe we can. I'm not sure. We're probably going to go 1-2, though, just based on the Cleveland Browns. We like to lose a lot. We could win 2-1. We actually won. Wow. So our team's actually winning under RG3. There we go. So that's crazy to see, actually. Let's see this. So we're now second, or at least tied for number 1 in our division. Looks like the Steelers won, so 2-1. Or no, they lost 2-1. Browns 2-1. Ravens 2-1. And the Bengals 1-2. So we did win against the Dolphins, though. I'm surprised about that, actually. I thought for sure we'd lose maybe a few games already, but we're starting to win for once, so that's really nice to see. Anything else? Let's see player stats. Let's go to Browns. So let's check out passing yards. So Robert Griffin III, 265 yards passing on a 113.9 passing rating. It looks like Cody Kessler his first career touchdown pass, too. So Cody Kessler, 11 yards passing on one touchdown. So it's pretty good for Cody Kessler. But Robert Griffin III finally did throw a game. Had a game without an interception. Let's go to rushing, though. So Duke Johnson, 61 yards rushing, 16 attempts. Isaiah Crowell, 55 yards rushing on 14 attempts. And it looks like Duke Johnson and Isaiah Crowell both had touchdowns. But Duke Johnson did have a fumble, though. Anything else, though? Receiving yards, though. Let's see receiving yards. So it looks like the top receiver was Gary Barnes with 57 yards receiving on 5 receptions. Corey Coleman, 3 receptions for 57 yards again. That's pretty good for Corey Coleman. But Gary Barnes, 2 receiving touchdowns on the day, which is pretty good. Josh Gordon, 32 yards receiving. Isaiah Crowell, 31. Duke Johnson, 29. And Ricardo Lewis, 22. Anything else, though? Blocking. Who let up sacks this week? No sacks. Wait. See this. Passing. No sacks let up this week by the Cleveland Browns. Our offensive line was money this week. That's probably why we won. Had a lot of time in the pocket. But let's go check out defense. So Demario Davis, our middle linebacker, I think. 13 tackles and 1 interception. So a great game by Demario Davis. Good fantasy game. But Barkevius Mingo, though, 9 tackles and 1 sack. Paul Kruger, 7 tackles and 0 sacks. Bakari Rambo, 6 tackles, sorry. Joe Hayden, 4 tackles. Anything else, though? Do we even have any sacks? We did have 1 sack, so yeah, Mingo, obviously. So no sacks from, it looks like John Hughes III, but he did have 3 tackles, though. Let's move on to kicking. No kicking either, so it was kind of a weird day, though. No sacks on our team, on Robert Griffin III, and only 1 sack for our team, which is kind of weird. But it's basically about it for the stats for today. So let's go and move on and check out what happened for the rest of the week. Hopefully, I want to see what if there's any good free agents at all. Let's go to transactions. Were there any releases at all? Let's see if any big time players were released or not. Cardale Jones was released. Wow. So the Bills released Cardale Jones. I want to see if we can pick him up, actually. Maybe it's their 3rd string quarterback, but Vincent Valentine was re-signed, or at least signed a 1-year deal. Anything else? Wait. Vincent Valentine was on our actual practice squad, wasn't he? I swear he was. He was, okay. So Vincent Valentine signed off for practice squad. So our practice squad is actually pretty popular for the rest of the NFL. So the Broncos, they take another one. Damn, it sucks. But anyway, let's go and see if we can find another guy to put on our practice squad. Let's put a Jordan Richards on here. Sign him to the practice squad. Our own kind of suicide squad. And who else? Cardale Jones, we could sign onto there. But, should we do that though? I kind of want to sign him just as a actual third string quarterback. Cardale's not too bad though. It might actually be better because, yeah, we'll just sign like a cornerback right here. We'll sign Alex Carter to our practice squad. He seems like a decent person. Let's go and actually go and sign Cardale Jones as our third string quarterback, actually. I want to do that. Let's go to offense. Or is Tavarius Jackson a good guy, though? He's 33, he's a veteran. You do need that veteran presence when it comes to that. Tavarius Jackson. I'm not sure what to do here. Do you have Josh McCown on here? We can't release him, obviously. Yeah, we could actually put him on an injured list, actually. But if you put him on the IR, though, isn't he done for the season? I'm not sure. We have to leave him on there, though. It sucks. So Josh McCown's stuck on there. Tavarius Jackson, though, does he even play? He doesn't really play at all, but he does have that kind of fake sense of a veteran presence. Like, it might help. I don't really know when it comes to that. But Cardale Jones, actually, we could probably put him on our practice squad. That might actually work. Let's see this regressed. What's this? So one player regressed on our team. Isaiah Crowell regressed. Wow. That's weird. So Isaiah Crowell doesn't look to be our starting running back anymore after he regressed. Kind of sucks, but move on to there. So Duke Johnson down to number 1, undisputed number 1. Anything else? So Corey Coleman should be 83 overall by now. Come on. We should upgrade some XP after, but I'm still figuring out what to do with Cardale Jones, though. He's not too bad of a quarterback. I say that. Dylan Thompson. Do we have, man, I'm kind of confused what to do. Because I'm sure not everyone will go and pick up Cardale Jones, though. That's one thing. Do we need Dylan Thompson? I'd much rather have Cardale Jones when it comes to Dylan Thompson. We'll just cut him off there. We don't really need Dylan Thompson on here. Drop him, and we'll bring on Cardale Jones. Maybe he might get picked up. I really don't know. It doesn't really matter too much to me. I'll keep Tavarius Jackson as a veteran presence, air quotations, but we'll bring in Cardale Jones as our third, I guess, I don't know if really third string. Let's go sign to our practice squad. There you go. So add Cardale Jones to our practice squad. I don't know if it's even a good idea to put him on there. You might get claimed, but it doesn't matter too much. So let's go and move on to on to the next task for this week. Let's go and check out these re-signings, I guess. I really don't know if we should really sign these guys or not. Got Barkevius Mingo, Raheem Moore Sr., Quan Williams, and Josh Gordon. It looks like he's not ready to negotiate yet. So 3 big players to maybe start negotiations with. I really don't know. Isaiah Crowell does want to start, though. Okay, so Isaiah Crowell, $10 million over 4 years. That's not too bad, I guess, for Isaiah Crowell. He's 23 years old, 75 overall. But I'm not sure yet. Same with Josh Gordon, too. And Raquan Williams. Just basically all these guys I'm not ready for yet. So maybe around week 5 we'll go and decide what we're doing with them. But anyway, let's go and, I guess, advance to the next week. Because we really have nothing really left to do for this week. Okay, so now at week 5 of our franchise mode. We did end up losing, unfortunately, in week 4. But let's check out this player regress, though. We want to see that. So Robert Griffin III did regress, though. What the heck? So he's sacked a few times. So 2 attribute points. Doesn't really matter too much. He's 74 overall now, which is really good to see. But didn't see anything else, though. Anything else happened. Advanced week, obviously. We had more points in the college scouting. But let's go check out what happened in the week before. Let's move to right there. So it looks like in the AFC North, where all the teams are now 2-2, which is really crazy to see. Let's go see how we lost the Redskins. We lost pretty big, though. 30-13. That is not a good score at all. But, I mean, we should expect losses, though. That's one for one thing. Let's get to check out this game though. Did RG3 have a good game? RG3 though, 143 yards passing, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But Cody Kessler is in, 94 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception on the day. Anything else? 3 sacks for Cody Kessler and 4 sacks for Robert Griffin III. So our quarterbacks got destroyed this week. Man. Let's see rushing though. Duke Johnson, 55 yards rushing on 15 attempts. Cody Kessler, 2 yards and on 1 attempt. See receiving yards. So Gary Barnes, 61 yards receiving on 7 attempts or 7 receptions. Corey Coleman, 5 receptions for 60 yards. And Dawkins, 3 receptions for 50 yards. I see you got touchdowns though. Gary Barnes did with 1 touchdown. Okay. Anything else? Anyone else get any touchdowns? That's it. Okay. Let's see blocking though. Any blocking? I want to see you let up sacks. Michael Bowie and Joe Thomas. Man, Joe Thomas not looking too good. I'm kidding. He's 99 overall. He can do whatever he wants. But let's see this. So tackles. Barcavius Mingo led us with 12 tackles and 1.5 sacks. Bakari Rambo, 10 tackles, 0 sacks, but 1 interception on the day against the Redskins. But Carl Nassib, 7 tackles and 0.5 of a sack. Paul Kruger, 6 Paul Kruger 6 tackles and 1 sack. Paul Kruger 6 tackles and 1 sack. Christian Kirksey 6 tackles and 0.5 of a sack. Anything else? Ogba had 1.5 sacks. That's pretty good to see on 3 tackles. And is that it? That's it. Okay. Let's move on to anything else. Kicking. I want to see how kicking happened. So Travis Goons 2 for 3. It's not really that great, but his longest was 42 yards. Let's go move on to the rest of the week's tasks. So we end up now we're 2-2 on the season. That's not too bad, I guess, for the Browns. But I thought for sure we didn't even win yet. But let's go check out some transactions and see if any big time players were re-signed or released. Let's see this. So Jakeem Grant was released. TJ Yates was signed. Anything else though? DeMar Dotson. Monte Teo was re-signed to a 5-year, $19.9 million contract. Rolando McClain, 4-year, $21 million. Anything else? Lawrence Timmons, 3 years, LT. 3 years, $15.7 million contract. Dylan Thompson, obviously, as we did. And that is about it. Luke Wilson, though. Another Luke Wilson. 4 years, $18.9 million contract with the Texans. And Eddie Lacy, though. 5 years, $34 million with the Packers. Okay. And that is basically about it for this week. So let's go and move and see what happened with the rest of this week. I want to see if anything happened with our team. That's it. Okay, so I thought for sure players would get re-signed or just taken off our practice squad once again. Anything else? Cardale Jones, 67 overall. Okay. Let's see if any players regressed, though. Yeah, everyone still looks about the same overall as they were last time. Let's see an offense, though. Corey Coleman still 81 overall. Looks like Robert Griffin III finally 74 overall, which is good to see. And that is basically about it when it comes to all those kind of stats. Let's go check out college players once again, though. I want to see how it happened there. So anyone else new in the top 10? Doesn't look like it. Looks to be the exact same as last time. So let's go and check out what else. I guess there's really nothing else left to do. We're going to play the Patriots at home finally once again. 3-1 Patriots versus 2-2 Browns. So next episode will be the Patriots and the Browns game. So I'm going to play Tom Brady because I have no idea if he retires early or late. But anyway, I guess in this episode off right here, this was a huge simming episode. We simmed, I believe, 4 weeks in total in the simming episode. We looked over some team moves. We had some players to our practice squad and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I guess in this episode off right here, just make sure to like and subscribe for more Cleveland Browns franchise building. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.